everyone, my name is Benjamin Robertson, and today I'm going to be leading you through my sample Loylo lesson plan. So the overall aim for this lesson was for learners to practice one of the 4 essential skills: reading, to critically engage with the text, and to also work collaboratively on integrated tasks. The lesson begins with Activity 1, a review of prior content. Learners were already familiar with these cards, which they had seen in the prior lesson, and this was an opportunity for them to review what they had already learnt and to bring it back to the forefront of their minds. So, learners already had the opportunity to discuss these 2 questions in detail with a partner. This time, they have a writing task, which the teacher models, and afterwards the learners are given this template, and students have the opportunity to either work on this on their own or in pairs. So after this, the lesson moved on to Activity 2, which was mostly focused on checking understanding using the reading passage from the textbook. These materials were supplemented to also include visual aids and also vocabulary explanations to aid understanding. So learners had the reading passage here, which they could refer to as they answered questions together collaboratively. So first they had to identify which were the correct answers. After that, they were tasked with using this thinking tool. They chose one question and then wrote in greater detail as to why they think it was the best answer. And as learners were working on this together, they could pool their resources and had the opportunity to both help but also challenge one another in their learning. After this, we moved on to Activity 3, which is all about vocabulary acquisition, with a focus on multimedia or technological devices. At this point, learners are focused on acquiring new vocabulary through interactive tasks. In this case here, they choose one of these statements and then they debate with one another whether or not they agree or disagree. After that, they move on to this thinking tool, whereby they select again one of these and then use this part here to expand upon their answers in greater detail. This also presented myself, the teacher, an opportunity to watch their thought process in real time. Thereby I could give them instantaneous feedback on what they were doing. As for Activity 4, this is the sort of accumulation of the whole lesson, whereby learners have one more chance to optimize their learning potential. So here learners take a questionnaire, but they also go through a number of different tasks whereby they're making use of the vocabulary that they already learned and trying to contextualize it before moving on to plotting out a sequence of events using a thinking tool. So we can find the thinking tool here. This is where we have another example which is modeled by the teacher, and then they work through it either by themselves or in groups. This thinking tool provides an opportunity for learners also to explore whether there is more than one way to approach a task. They then have the questionnaire using Loylo's built-in questionnaire feature. This also presents them with an opportunity to view the results of the questionnaire, and then they can critically reflect upon it, in particular with reference to things that they found surprising or things that they found they had in common. After all this, the teacher can use this as a task. They can then collect the answers and then they can check them later and provide the students with various forms of feedback. Okay, thank you very much for listening to me today, and I hope this lesson plan may be of some use to you in the future.